when we think about shading our new cube that we've just drawn, we need to think about where the light is going to come from, because where the light comes from determines where we do our dark areas and where we do our light areas. So I'm going to draw an arrow and I'm going to draw a little sun to show you where our light is coming from. So that means the lightest part of our cube is going to be up here, and the darkest part of our cube is going to be down here, and then the shadow is going to be where the darkest area is. So what I'm going to do is, before I start shading, is I'm just going to rub out the lines that you wouldn't be able to see on a cube. And again, this is the importance of drawing quite lightly with your pencil so that you are able to rub things out. But it's okay on this one because I'm going to shade over that anyway. Okay, so I always find it's easiest to shade the darkest areas first, and then I can gradually release the pressure as I'm getting lighter. So we're going to shade down here dark, and we're going to gradually get light over here towards this corner. So I'm going to start off shading in a diagonal direction. So starting in that corner, starting to gradually release some pressure as we go across. Now you'll see, to start off with, that my shading is not particularly neat, not particularly well formed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work over on top of that, and I'm going to be working trying to get all my tones to blend together and make sure that I don't have any of these white gaps, okay, because this is all about control, and to see control in your work we do need to get rid of those white gaps. So now that I've shaded in one direction, I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm also going to be using a different part of my pencil. When we start shading, quite often we're tempted to use the tip, the point of our pencil, and that makes quite a thin mark. But if you change your grip on your pencil, so I'm going to be holding my pencil, rather than holding it like this, I'm going to be holding it like this. And then if we use the side of our pencil, you can see that becomes a much thicker, much softer mark. So that's how I'm going to work. So I'm using the side of my pencil and pushing quite hard for that dark area. And then as I come out, I'm going to start to press lighter. Now you can already see how I'm starting to get rid of some of those white areas. And it is starting to blend together a bit better. Admittedly, I'm going to have to do some more work on that, but it is starting to blend. And again, a shade lighter up there. So now I'm going to go across in a different direction again. Push in really hard in the corner, lightly elsewhere. And you can see now how my tones are really starting to blend together, and how I'm making sure I've got no white gaps anywhere in my tone, up to that lightest part in the top corner there. So once you've got that part shaded in and you're completely happy with it, I'm about there, just cover these little white gaps at the side, then you need to start thinking about these other two sides, okay? So we're not going to have this dark shade on either of those sides, but we are going to have to get even lighter towards here. So these are what I like to call my medium tone areas, and then it's going to come up to the lightest part here because we've already done the darkest part down there. So again, I'm going to start with my pencil as flat to the page as I can get it, and I'm going to start with about this tone that we've got here, and then as we come up again, I'm gradually going to get lighter and lighter by releasing the pressure. And then I need to go over again in a different direction, just so I'm smoothing it out and I'm not leaving any white gaps in any of my shading anywhere. And I'm making sure my tones blend in, so you can't see a big line between a light tone and a dark tone. And then I'm going to do the same on the top over here. So starting with my medium tone, coming across, gradually getting lighter and lighter up to this lightest part in the top corner. And again, just going to go across in a different direction now to smooth it out and cover up any of the gaps. Right, so we could call that done now, but what I'm going to do is, because I want to make sure that my cube is looking like a farm, I'm going to add a shadow. So I'm going to go along this bottom edge here. I'm working back with the point of my pencil now because I want to make that into a thin dark line, and down that side as well. And this is where we're going to shade. So I'm going to shade along the bottom of that cube, and then I'm going to come out and get lighter. And then I'm just going to do a bit from that side there. Same, darker where it meets the cube and lighter as it comes away. Okay, and that just gives it a little bit more of an impression of being a 3D object, because we have a shadow as well. And once you've added your shadow in, that's you completely done.